Welcome to Daps Travels. I'm Mr. Daps, and tonight I am joined by my good friend. Go for it.
Johnny. Hello, everyone.
We just had a fantastic meal, so we're both a little bit lethargic, to be completely honest, which means it's going to be a fun podcast. And we're going to make this even more fun because we've already stuffed ourselves with food. We're going to make this a popcorn episode. Do you like what I did there?
I love that, but I also hate it at the same time.
I'll take it. Johnny had no clue we were doing this. I just said, hey, we're just going to go in here and you roll with whatever we do. And he's like, sure, I can do that.
And you know what? I did sign up for this, so
exactly.
Here we are.
It's going to be great. We know the Disney Magic will be the next ship that we look in depth at some point. Probably the next episode, right?
The Wonder.
Wonder's next?
Because the Magic is the first one.
Oh, that's the one we already did. We've been talking about the Wonder so much that I was like, oh, we already did that one.
I mean, we did talk about it because I did sail on that to Alaska.
That, I just feel like it keeps popping up everywhere lately, like on other podcasts, people I've talked to in the media.
You know why it probably keeps popping up and why it's fresh in your brain? We'll get to this later on because the Disney Wonder was in some recent Disney Cruise Line news, per se.
That is true.
Hashtag foreshadowing.
That is true. We will get to that maybe. Because this is what we're doing. This is a popcorn episode. So what I have done is I've gone to dapsmagic.com and opened up the Disney Cruise Line page / category. And what we're going to do is I'm going to scroll down here and I'm just going to pick anything that jumps out at me. And then we're going to talk about it. Sound good?
Sounds like a plan.
You can do this. It's going to be great. So I think we're going to start with the thing that is probably most prevalent on most of our minds right now, just because it all happened within the last week. And that's all the excitement that's been going on in Germany with a laser engraving, laser cutting, whatever it is, of a new ship's...
the steel cutting ceremony.
Steel cutting, thank you. So there's that. We got a sneak peek of the Sanctum on the Disney Destiny, and bundled all into this amazing weekend of Disney Cruisedom, we also had the float out of the Disney Destiny. So let's start with the steel cutting. Thoughts?
Personally, I'm very excited for the steel cutting because this is the first in the many steps towards the new class of ship that we will be getting launching in 2029.
So this is one of the new... Or is this the Last Wish class?
Was it the Last Wish class?
I think it's the Last Wish class, but I could be wrong.
No, I think you're right, because now that I think of it, see, this is proof
but it's
that
still
I'm
a step,
just so
it's still a step
it,
towards this.
It's still a step towards that.
Yes.
I mean, regardless, a new ship added to the fleet is a new ship added to the fleet. Personally, I don't care what class it could be. I'm content with a new ship being added because more Disney Cruise Line ships is the better. And I will die on that hill.
And don't you think also it's exciting with the way they've been doing Disney Cruise Line ships recently that we've had all of these different themes, I guess is really what they are. But like, what's next?
I'm really trying to think of
space.
What could be next? Well,
like Tomorrowland space, not Star Wars space.
Well, I'm trying to think of what they've been going for in regards to theming and whatnot, because with the Wish class, it kind of reinvented what Disney Cruise Line is, because the 4 classic ships that everybody has got to know and love have that classic Art Deco, Art Nouveau theme that invoke the golden age of cruising versus the Wish class, which launched in 2022, which is more so, the best way I can describe it would be Disney parks and Disney experiences
on the
and
sea.
All the IP that we've come to know and love at sea, because you have the Wish, whose theme is enchantment, and it's themed to all of our favorite princesses, Cinderella.
So you could almost say that is the fantasy land of Disney Cruise Line ships in a way. Like if we were to pull from different lands.
Essentially, I feel like you could, in regards to overarching theme, there are some aspects of the ship that are a little different. For example, Star Wars, does it fit into Fantasyland? But overarching, I definitely feel like the Disney Wish would be equivalent to Fantasyland and Disneyland or Magic Kingdom Park. Yeah. Whereas the Disney Treasure is themed after adventure, and you have that scene through the lens of not Keg and Compass, Periscope Pub.
Mm-hmm.
You have that through the lens of Skipper Society, even the Haunted Mansion parlor. And even going to the Grand Hall, the theming of it, the statue that you have in the atrium of Aladdin and Jasmine, definitely overarching theme of adventure, which would tie back to Adventureland. And then we have the Destiny, which for me personally screams Avengers Campus at Sea.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Because the overarching theme of the Disney Destiny is heroes and villains, and what better way to represent the heroes and villains trope than Marvel?
Absolutely. And the fun part too, though, is they're giving it's Avengers Campus at Sea meets something that doesn't even exist yet, which is Villains Land at Sea, because you've got DeVille's and like there's some fun stuff that's going to be happening in this ship too that might hint at what we're getting in a future land at Magic Kingdom. Maybe we'll find out at D23. Who knows?
Truth be told, the world is our oyster when it comes to the cruise ships, because I feel like there are so many unique opportunities that they could do.
So just brainstorm
to
what could you imagine next?
I'm really trying to think of something that we don't really have a lot of representation of.
I think there's plenty in the world of Pixar that you could lean into. I don't know what you would take it from a big picture standpoint. It's interesting to me that they haven't leaned more into Star Wars, but at the same time, they did do that with the Halcyons. So maybe they learned some lessons there that they're
I feel
rethinking.
Like overarching, where there is a large part of the fan base overall that likes Star Wars, but there isn't enough of their base where they can create a dedicated venue overarching to that theme and have it based off of that,
especially week after week after day after day.
That would be very difficult to do. I mean, I have my own theories in regards to what the fourth ship will be. I would be willing to bet money that the name of the ship will be called the Discovery, because that very much seems up Disney's alley. I think I even said that in a previous episode.
You actually said it on Geeks Corner the other night in the chat, I think.
See, so
it exists.
I would be willing to bet money that the next ship would be called the Disney Discovery, because it kind of just makes sense, and with the flow of what they're doing, I could see them adding something maybe Frontierland themed. Like you could probably have a tie into Big Thunder Mountain somehow through one of the lounges that they have, something kind of like Wild West type vibe.
You could also do the Discoveryland Jules Verne kind of thing also. Like there's a lot of possibilities, and there's an easy crossover. I feel like you could make an easy crossover with those.
So I think overall, I mean, a fourth ship in the Wish class, and for me personally, I will be experiencing my very first Wish class ship in November. So I think it's going to be good no matter what.
Oh, absolutely.
I know the Disney Wish in regards to the Disney Cruise Line community is revered as the least favorite out of all the ships currently in the fleet. And while I personally don't understand that because I have not yet been on the ship, I think it gets too much hate just from what I've seen. But again, I'll be the judge of that.
Well, and I have friends that have gone on all of the ships, and they may not view the Wish as their favorite ship, but they also aren't like, oh, I hate this ship. They're like, oh, it's Disney. It's still amazing. It's just, this is my least favorite of favorites versus complete dislike, which I do know there are people out there that are like that. Totally fine. Everybody's allowed their opinion. But
with the Wish specifically, it's the one thing, because it was the very first ship that broke from the structure of what the Magic, Wonder, Dream, and Fantasy were.
Mm-hmm.
So, of course, the first of something that's new is going to probably get the most backlash and the most hate in regards for it, because all the images and all the things that I've seen in regards to the ship look fantastic. I've seen so many tours of it, and I'm that person that when I plan for a trip, I'm typing in my stateroom number and getting a tour of my stateroom.
Oh, yeah.
And I've done that 10 times over, and I've watched different room tours of the stateroom that I'll be staying in. And I'm thinking to myself, there's no way I'm not going to like this, because this is absolutely stunning and beautiful.
It looks beautiful to me, and I'm sure we'll have a stateroom tour from you once you've been on the ship, and then we'll have a review as well. I would
absolutely
only imagine. All right, so we have the new ship coming, whatever that's going to be. Maybe the Discovery, maybe something else. We'll see. We also got, let's just lump all of the Disney Destiny stuff together. We got a really good look at the outside of the ship when it was doing its float out. We got the mini costume.
She looks so shiny and brand new.
And gorgeous.
I was so surprised seeing it when she floated out of Meyer Werft over there. I was like, I I know it looks brand new because it is brand new, and actually no guests have been on board yet, and it still
has that shiny new ship smell.
But it looks so shiny. I was just shocked. It was like, oh my gosh, like, you know, when you unpackage a new phone or a new tablet for the first time and it's just
new
spotless, it looked like that. And I'm just like, that's a ship though.
Yeah. And it's massive. Like, you look at backing out of that dry dock and it's almost as big as the dry, like, that was really cool.
Cruise ships in general are so weird because you look at it and you're like, oh, that's big. And then you're standing next to it and you're like, oh, yeah, that's big.
Like, there was one shot where you could see the ship and then you could see the people right next to it that were on the side of the I don't know, the grass there.
Do they look like ants?
They look like ants. Like, I literally thought of
the
movie.
And so like, small.
Yeah. I said this on Geeks Corner, but I will say it again because I just wish they had thrown Spider-Man flying around in that also, because I would have geeked out even more.
I feel like Spider-Man might eventually make his way to flying around on the ship itself because
I hope so.
We do have Mickey and sometimes Captain Jack Sparrow that go swing from the funnels.
So you're saying there's a chance?
I mean,
that would be
never
awesome.
Say never.
That would be so cool.
If they really want to go in with the whole trope of heroes and villains, I feel like that would be one of the best ways to do so.
Absolutely. And we have a new Spider-Man movie coming. Like, everything points to
that. It even goes back to the marketing that they could have for the movie.
Mm-hmm. I mean, even if it didn't happen day one with the ship, it would be amazing if when the movie came out, they like updated their entertainment and added flying Spider-Man.
It wouldn't surprise me, and I think it would be really cool.
Yeah, I think that'd be awesome too. What'd you think of the Sanctum? The pictures we saw.
The pictures of the Sanctum, now I can really envision what the idea is, and I am much more on board with what it is now.
I want it in the parks.
Because when I found out the original theme of the Disney Destiny, I was very upset because I'm tired of Marvel.
Yeah, you're not a Marvel guy. That's fine.
I'm not a Marvel guy, but I also just think in regards to lasting effect of how good it would last, I don't think a very heavily Marvel themed ship at sea would be the best idea. Mm-hmm. However, this is showing to prove me wrong because I might be of the mentality where I am not a fan of this IP or anything like that. Mm-hmm. But if you design a sit base beautiful enough to really capture the details of it, and it's very well themed and well thought out, and it's an overall good experience, I would be happy with it regardless.
Well, it's kind of like the Haunted Mansion parlor, where the quality is so good that even if you're not a Haunted Mansion fan, you can walk into it and be wowed by it because the details and the quality and all of that is so amazing that it doesn't take a fan to appreciate it. You just appreciate something that's created that's impressive. And I think that's what they do a really good job with on the Disney Cruise Line. And I can remember being a kid and my dad was always like, Disney knows how to do wow. Like when you walk in, you go wow. And that's what Disney aims for. And I think sometimes they definitely do that with certain things. Like that moment you first walked into Cars Land was wow. Like that's one of the iconic media events that I can remember doing.
The last time I can remember where I was wowed by a Disney theme park was actually the rededication of Disney California Adventure in 2012. Walking, because like how you said, Cars Land, for me, it was actually walking down Buena Vista Street. That
does not surprise me
for the first time and seeing Carthay Circle over there in the background, because I love the entire vibe of like 1920s, 1930s Hollywood. It is immaculate. I love the architecture and everything about it. So I definitely get that wow factor.
And I think the first time I saw the Millennium Falcon was that wow moment for me. And but you look at what they're doing with the Sanctum and what they've done with some other spaces on the Disney Cruise Line, and I think, and you can attest to this, is you walk in, whether it's a restaurant or entertainment show, Broadway show or whatever, and I've watched you talk about them, so I'm pretty sure I can say they were wow moments for you.
That is very true. And for me personally, I know it's kind of no secret in regards to what the fandom thinks about WDI and in general the Walt Disney Company navigating through the pandemic and with these projects that they've been coming out with, and they haven't been meeting the standard of what we would expect. However, for me personally, like my most recent wow moment with Disney over the past 12 years it was when I stepped aboard the Disney Fantasy for the first time, and never having been on a cruise ship, walking into this beautiful, ornate environment that I was truly moved. And it takes a lot for me to have that wow moment where I'm very taken aback. And it did that. And the entire experience was like that. So specifically seeing what the cruise line does and how the cruise line has continued to have these wow moments with their different projects that they've had throughout the years, I have no doubt that the Disney Destiny is going to be another one of these ships that, while it might not be my cup of tea and it might not cater to me specifically, I'm still going to be able to appreciate it for the work of art that it is, and see how much time and effort was putting into creating these well manicured, perfected spaces surrounding this IP, so that way the fans of it can enjoy it, as well as me, somebody who might not be the biggest fan of it, but can still enjoy the space for what it is.
Well, I think one of the things that Disney Destiny has done really well is they're capturing different stories of the heroes and villains. And one of those stories, as I play popcorn on this page, is Disney Hercules. And I almost didn't scroll down far enough, to be honest. But I think if there was nothing else on this ship, and that was it, that would be enough to get me on this ship, is because that was one of my favorite movies when it came out. Like, the music's fantastic. It's a beautifully animated film. Like, it's just gorgeous. And we got to hear Zero to Hero.
I love Hercules, and truth be told, when I found out that that was going to be the stage show on the ship, I got so excited. And truth be told, it is also a goal of mine to stay in the hero suite that they have there, because the two royal suites that they have on this ship are the hero suite and the end credit suite. And I've seen the concept art that they have for what the hero suite will be like, and I need to stay there. And in general, too, that entire ship, I could be yapping about all the guest rooms there. Concierge is just right up my alley for that specific ship, because the concierge guest rooms are themed to Fantasia. And nothing means more to me than anything than Sorcerer Mickey. I love Sorcerer Mickey. Anything with Sorcerer Mickey in it, sign me up. I want it.
Oh, totally.
So just seeing that, seeing how well decorated everything is, I need to be on that ship.
I love that. So were you a Fantasia? This is sidebar. Were you a Fantasia fan growing up, or is it more of like the artwork and what it?
It's always for
imagery,
me.
I guess.
I think it's been the artwork and imagery, and I've come to appreciate the actual film itself more over time, because I feel like as a 4 or 5 year old watching it, you are just like, wow, pretty colors.
Yeah.
And to this day, I'm still like, wow, pretty colors, but I can at least understand the imagery and
especially
everything
with the original one
and the music.
Yeah. They also have some pretty impressive puppets, which I think look amazing for Hercules.
The Hydra is insane.
And also the what are they called? The totally spacing what they are. You keep talking about the Hydra, I'll think about it.
The Hydra is absolutely insane on there, because if you look at the Disney Treasure and see where they have Tafiti and Taka,
the Titans,
it's insane how they're able to have the Hydra, which is even more complicated. And there's so many moving parts to that.
On a moving ship.
It's mind-blowing to me. For me, when I saw all the stage shows, because I've seen all the stage shows on the Disney Fantasy and all the stage shows on the Disney Wonder, I'm sitting there in awe as to how they're able to execute all this and not get off balance or anything like that. Because there were times in Alaska where you could feel the ship moving. You could feel the pitch and the roll of the ship. So it was really, really surprising seeing how everybody was composed and maintaining themselves and still able to put on a Broadway caliber show. I was just floored. With
some of the best Disney music, period. Like, I think it's fantastic. And all of that is going to be worth going on the cruise for. And there's DeVille's and there's all that other stuff too. But that would be an entire podcast just on Disney Destiny, which I'm sure we'll do at some point. Catch me in the Walt Disney Theater every showtime. I mean, piano bars are pretty good too, though. For me, my thing though is on those ships, I will always be in the theater and I will always be first in line. I do not care. I will be waiting there because I need to see that show. I love the live entertainment. It's kind of how we do Disney in general. That is true. We're like, the rides first, be last.
The rides, I don't care. Paint the night? Well, yes.
Don't forget those fireworks.
True. Can't miss Wondrous.
We had a blast the other night. All right. Let's do... How about this one? Because I know we've been waiting for it. The Disney Cruise Line is departing from Down Under.
Disney Cruise Line decided...
Why don't you explain what this was first, just for those who didn't know? Because they've only been there a couple of years.
That's true. The inaugural season was, if I'm not mistaken,
3 years ago.
It was 2023, if I'm not mistaken.
So 2 years ago. Yeah.
So Disney Cruise Line, so far back in time, in the year 2023, decided to embark on a journey down to Australia,
which was a big deal,
which is a huge deal. Yeah. However, it doesn't seem like it is boding well for them, because they recently announced that they will be departing Australia at the conclusion of the cruise season in February of 2026.
So less than a year.
Yeah, actually, I'm trying to think, is that 8 months, something like that? So
they're not the first cruise line that's doing this.
They aren't the first cruise line that's started to do that.
Yeah.
And it is really disheartening for me as a Disney fan to see Disney Cruise Line pull out from down there, because I know there's a huge fan base down there in Australia and they don't have access to a Disney park. The only media consumption that they have would be through TV or YouTube videos and things like that. So they could really watch it, but the closest park to them, if I'm correct, would be Hong Kong.
Probably. Yeah.
And even then, that's, I feel like, a huge journey just to get over there. So having that little slice of Disney magic down there makes sense. However, I can't say that I'm surprised that Disney Cruise Line is pulling out from down there, because bookings specifically for this season on the Disney Wonder have been pretty rough. The ships are not filling up to the capacity that they would want them to. So they're not as profitable as they would like them to be.
Don't you think it's probably hard too, is if you live down in Australia or New Zealand, you've probably seen Australia and New Zealand. And so why would you go on a cruise to home kind of a thing, or just to stay on the ship for a few days?
Yeah, I was going to say, I think that's what the biggest issue is personally, because most of the sailings are magic at sea.
Yeah. And so either you're sticking on the ship or you're going to a place that you normally would go anyway. So it seems to me like that would be kind of a one and done thing.
I think it is very much a one and done thing. And I think another factor in it, because this is the factor that always comes up when you talk Disney, is price.
Yeah.
Because you have Carnival Cruise Line down there. And I think when people are comparing prices for pretty much essentially the same thing, the Disney premium is probably so much more that it's hard to justify.
And that knows the fandom that's going to go on it.
Yeah, so it's hard to justify paying that premium, even though you might be a big fan, but it's still overall the same experience, because you're just sailing around the ocean for a little bit.
Whereas you can bring the ship back to the West Coast or East Coast, either one, and you have built-in supply of cruisers that probably will end up wanting to go on this ship.
I'm just saying, Disney, if you're listening to this, I would not be opposed to the Disney Wonder being homeported in San Diego, California.
We would be happy to cover the first the maiden voyage from San Diego this next time.
I would be happy to cover the inaugural sailing of the Disney Wonder from the port of San Diego.
Live from it.
It would be fantastic.
Right? In concierge, right?
Correct.
That's where that
well, yes.
Maybe even get to interview the captain. Like, if we're dreaming big.
I feel like that's possible.
I feel like it'd be awesome. How cool would that be?
I'm pretty sure I saw the captain when we were... Yeah, I saw the captain when we were on the Wonder.
That'd be fun. I think it'd be great. No, I think you're totally right, though. I think there's probably an issue with demand. Seems like all of the cruise lines went down at the same time. So then you're adding a ton of supply of rooms or staterooms.
It's an oversaturation of the product, and there's simply not enough demand to meet that saturation.
I will say, seeing Disney Cruise Line cruising in Sydney is gorgeous. Like, those pictures are just...
I've seen the pictures of the Wonder going underneath the Sydney Harbor Bridge and sailing past the Opera House. And
beautiful.
It looks spectacular.
I mean, they look beautiful with everything. Like, they looked beautiful pulling the Destiny out of the dry dock.
Truth be told, those ships could be sailing through the murkiest water possible, and you would just be like,
beacon of magic.
Look at that.
It's
Don't
totally
pay attention
true.
to the green sewage water around it.
Right?
It looks beautiful.
So here's my question. This is a photographer question, but you get to play along. If you could take a picture of one Disney Cruise Line ship going past one icon globally, what would they be?
The Disney Fantasy sailing past the Statue of Liberty.
Oh, I like that. Okay.
Mainly because also I know there's a huge demand for Disney Cruise Line to go back to sailing out of New York.
Oh, yeah, I would think. And imagine doing that in the fall. Like going up the East Coast, seeing all the fall colors. Like,
Disney Cruise Line, at this point, I'm just begging you, please give us more ships over here in the US.
Mm-hmm.
I'll take anywhere, but ideally San Diego, California.
I think that'd be beautiful. Like that would be pretty amazing. I would like to see, I actually probably go either the Magic or the Wonder, and this is a weird spot for it, but I would like to see it on the East Coast, Northeast Coast, near one of those amazing lighthouses, like going past the lighthouse and take it from shore with like looking up and you see the ship out there, you see the lighthouse, and then you see some of the foliage. Like, I think that'd be my
That would be
picture.
cool.
I mean, there's so many. Like, you could also do London. Like, imagine if it went, I guess they're in Southampton right now, aren't they? Is that
I was about to be like, yeah, I know
fantasy?
the fantasy right now, the dream next year.
Yeah.
The fantasy's over there in Southampton.
Look at us remembering stuff. But like, that would be cool, is seeing it over in the UK or going past the cliffs of Dover or something like that. I think there's lots of cool places.
I mean, I'll be on it next year when it does that.
Uh-huh. I'd also like to see the dream in the fjords of Norway from the shore. Like, that would be gorgeous too.
I really want to go on a Norwegian fjords cruise because I've heard it is more beautiful than Alaska. And if that's the case, I need to go.
That was literally, I went to Japan for my birthday this year. The other option was going on a cruise to Norway. And I don't regret it at all, but I definitely have on my bucket list cruise to Norway because I just think Norway is one of the most beautiful places on the planet. All right, let's continue popcorning. You want to keep jumping around? Let's do a feel-good story. So the Disney Cruise Line is sponsoring a maritime camp for kids in the Bahamas. And it's literally one of those things that's helping kids in the Bahamas see the possibilities of being in the maritime industry when they grow up. And so they get to go to this camp for 2 weeks and they learn about different, engineering and command and navigation and all of these different things that are different parts of a cruise line and a cruise ship. And the Disney Cruise Line sponsors it. Did you know about this?
I was actually, funny enough, just reading about this.
Oh, nice. Good.
And I think this is actually super amazing because, as we all know, all of the ships that Disney Cruise Line has are registered to the Bahamas, are registered in Nassau. So I really do think this is an amazing opportunity for the kids of the Bahamas, especially of Nassau, to really explore if this is something that interests them, because anything maritime related, I feel like it's a big niche and it's kind of hard to get into, in my opinion, from what I've seen personally in regards to looking into it. It's just hard to kind of really get involved. So I think this is a really good program, especially because Disney Cruise Line is down there so often. I mean, we have, I think, a total of normally like 4 ships and going anywhere in the Bahamas. So there's almost always a ship in Nassau. So it's a huge opportunity for them to really teach these children about what it is to be on board, maybe even like tying the ropes and everything like that, showing them all the different things that go into being on the ship.
Quite literally expand their horizons too.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't been, other than on cruises, to the Bahamas, but I have spent more extended time in Jamaica and Haiti. And so often in these places, it seems like as a kid, you kind of only have the opportunities that are present right in front of you. And sometimes that's not the most exciting opportunities in the world. Maybe it's manual labor. Maybe but it's literally, you stay within a couple miles of where you were born and grow up. And I think cruise or maritime camps like this show the different ideas of what possibly you could do in the world, as opposed to just being a construction worker or something, which is nothing wrong with that, but it does give you the opportunity to use your imagination and dream bigger. And I think the world's a better place when you dream bigger.
Absolutely.
All right, let's do one more. What do you say?
Why not?
This goes back to June. And I remember us talking about it, but we didn't talk it on here. So let's talk about it.
Okay.
They lowered deposit requirements. And I think that's a big story, which is why I'm going back so far.
I remember when they did this because we took advantage of this.
Well, and we were texting a lot about it too, but go ahead. So explain what it is and explain how that's good for us as cruisers.
So it's good for us as cruisers because who doesn't like putting less money down for something when you purchase it? Mm-hmm. So back in June, Disney Cruise Line reduced the amount due for deposits for their cruises from 20% of the total price to 10% of the total price. And when I tell you the moment this happened, I booked a cruise because, well...
So you're saying it worked.
It did work. And I do think this is overall good for everybody because even though the price of the cruise didn't change or anything like that, it offers more flexibility of people who might want to secure a specific stateroom or secure a specific deal that might be ending soon. Mm-hmm. And it gives them the opportunity to get that down without having to put as much money up front.
And it lowers the barrier to entry also. Mm-hmm. So you only have to come up with that 10% and then you can pay it off sporadically or whatever.
Yeah.
As opposed to feeling that daunting, 20%, I don't know. It's almost a psychological thing, but I mean, it really is. But I do think it lowers the barrier to entry for people, and they can get that deposit in, and then they can work their way to the cruise or whatever.
It definitely does, and from what I've seen, it's definitely more in line with what the industry standard is for a lot of other companies, such as Celebrity, Royal Caribbean, Carnival, Norwegian. A lot of those other companies have been offering a 10% deposit, so it just seemed more in line for Disney Cruise Line to adjust their standard to reflect that.
Well, especially as you're saying this, I'm thinking of the Disney Cruise Line is also growing. We're getting new ships basically every year. And as it becomes a bigger fleet, its competition is going to change and its supply and demand is going to change. And I could see them wanting to make it easier to get into it just to keep them full all the time, as opposed to, like, if you do it now, then there's no like, oh, why are they doing this?
It's so funny that you mentioned competition and supply and demand, because I've been looking at what a lot of other cruise lines have been doing in regards to, I think, what their plans are for growing their fleet and growing their destinations. And
I'm very intrigued.
Personally think Disney's kind of going in the opposite direction.
Interesting. Tell me. I'm very intrigued by this.
So, as we all know, Royal Caribbean has been investing in these giant, massive mega ships. Norwegian has also.
Yeah.
MSC has also. Mm-hmm. Carnival has also. Yeah. Every other cruise line
going big
is investing in these giant mega ships that go to their own private destinations. Mm-hmm. And these companies are developing their own private destinations. Royal Caribbean has Perfect Day Mexico coming up, and Royal Beach Club in Cozumel coming up, Royal Beach Club in the Bahamas coming up. They're creating these destinations in these places so that way they can take their own ships there and funnel the money directly
they can control everything.
They can control everything and essentially keep the money flowing that would go to local tourists and local economies back to them.
Sure.
And what I've noticed with Disney is that it's not like that at all. Mm-hmm. Disney might have 2 private destinations, but a lot of the adventures and excursions that you do on there are operated
by
locals.
Yeah.
I've personally done parasailing on Castaway, and that was operated by a local company. Mm-hmm. On Lookout Key at Lighthouse Point, you have a shop there that sells local Bahamian goods that are made by the people on the island of Eleuthera. And Disney isn't really investing in these large-scale ships outside of the Adventure, which, had the pandemic not happened,
that was just an opportune moment. Yeah.
I don't think that would have happened in the first place.
Yeah.
And especially with this unknown class of ship that will be coming up, that they've already announced is going to be smaller. Mm-hmm. than the Dream class and the Wish class, and it's going to have a passenger maximum of 3,000 guests,
which I love.
Which I love as well.
Yeah.
I think Disney is focused on the storytelling themselves of these ships, but also transporting all the guests that they have to these different exotic destinations, because they would be willing to pay the premium for the Disney Cruise Line experience.
And it gives them the opportunity to go places like Norway, to Alaska, and places you couldn't go, to the Mediterranean, places that the massive ships couldn't go.
Well, there's also a lot of ports of call that are getting frustrated with these mega cruises.
Yeah.
You look at Juneau, Alaska.
That's immediately what popped into my head. Yeah.
Even Europe.
Yeah.
A lot of these small port towns don't like having these mega ships there because they don't have enough people there to support the influx of it. A great example that I can think of I have an upcoming sailing on the Disney Magic, and I was looking at the port schedule for Cozumel the day we're supposed to be there. 7 ships are supposed to be in port.
Whoa.
And the Disney Magic is the smallest of them.
I almost want to stay on the ship.
These port cities don't have the capacity for all these guests there. And you see a lot of the towns, I don't want to say revolting against it, but you see a lot of the towns speaking up saying that we don't want this and we don't want them to come here because we can't support it.
Well, don't you also think Disney does a very good job of coming in and partnering with communities, whether it's Disney Cruise Line, even the Disney parks, with their Disney volunteer? Like, we just had Disneyland volunteers go to one of the local schools here and give tickets to teachers and thousands of school supplies for the teachers, and really invest in the community for the coming year, for the school year, so that they could be successful. And then I'm thinking of the different ways, like Adventures by Disney, when they go into a country or a community, they really work on finding the local experts and partnering with them and having the local experts be the experts, as opposed to, I feel like some other companies kind of come in and just bulldoze over everything. I mean, thinking of these new places in the Bahamas that we've seen.
Well, that's actually perfect that you say that, because a great example that I can think of is you look at Celebration Key that opened on Grand Bahama. That's Carnival's private destination. And you look at Disney Lookout Key at Lighthouse Point.
Yeah.
Carnival's destination is very much resort-esque, and it's not an accurate depiction of anything culturally speaking there in the Bahamas, where Lookout Key at Lighthouse Point was built in mind with the culture of the Bahamas. And it's reflected in everything from even the way that they had a half-mile pier built so they wouldn't have to dredge the water and keep the coral reef there safe.
Yeah.
To the design of the buildings and everything that they have over there. It's more so about appreciation. And I think Disney, to your point, does a good job of showing appreciation for all the places that they go to. Because when you even look at their catalog of movies that they have inspiration of, it's inspiration from all these different places from around the world. So they put in definitely more of a conscious effort into cultural appreciation, not appropriation,
which is
cultural appreciation of the destinations that they go to, because they want to create not only a good experience for the guests that they have on board, but also a good experience for the vendors that they're partnering with.
Which totally makes sense when you think about it, because as you were saying this, then I have popping into my mind, the opening of Shanghai Disney, where they're like, what is it? Distinctly uniquely Chinese. No, distinctly Chinese, uniquely Disney. Is that what it was?
I think I want to say it's distinctly. I know what we're talking about, and I know what the phrase. I can't think. I can just hear Bob Iger's voice in my head, but I can't think of what the phrase is.
I'm messing it up, but they're doing the same thing with Abu Dhabi, where it's like they really want to lean into the community.
I think it was culturally Disney, distinctly Chinese. I think something like that, or maybe it's reversed.
Something like that.
But I know
we all know what it is.
Yeah,
even though we don't.
Well, it's like, to your point though too. It's just like, if Disney's going in somewhere, they want to be able to appreciate the culture that they have over there, and they want to be able to immerse. They want to be able to integrate themselves with that there, so that way they can celebrate it while also bringing in their own intellectual property and making it this beautiful experience, and really sharing the magic with that, but catering the magic to what people of that background would like.
Yeah.
Because it's not one size fits all.
Absolutely.
You can't go to the Middle East and go ahead and slap a carbon copy of the Disneyland Resort out there because it's just not going to work.
Correct. And I think that's something that makes, Adventures by Disney, Disney Cruise Line, and even the parks and everything else so incredible and niche. And it, Carnival and Royal and Princess and all of these each have their own niches also, which have their own audiences, and that's perfect. Like we've really enjoyed Princess, and there's nothing wrong with that. It just recognizing that Disney Cruise Line comes at it from a very different perspective, and they're pulling elements from other cruise lines too that, they just happen to have Disney magic and a different way of investing into what their values and their importance are. And I think that's really exciting, especially as we're getting new ships, because you think of the new possibilities and, what about an Ireland? There might already be an Ireland cruise, but like, how cool would it be to go through around Ireland and all of that area of the world?
Well, when I think of the ships that they might be having launched soon, I don't think it would be too wild to say that there might be a ship permanently positioned in Europe.
Oh, absolutely.
Because as it is already, the Disney Cruise Line ships that sail out there during the summer in Europe, those itineraries are very popular and they do book. Mm-hmm. So it wouldn't hurt to have them out there. Especially, I don't think it would hurt the cruise industry out there to maybe have a little bit of competition, because I know MSC pretty much dominates out there, and MSC is now getting into the market out here in the States. So again, competition never hurt anybody, because it really pushes each person and each company
literally all
to
ships rise with the tide.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it's great, and I love to see the fantasy this year and the dream next year heading out to Europe and leave. Southampton is where they leave, right?
They're all over. So but
isn't like their main place through the summer in Southampton, and then they go down to like the Mediterranean?
They actually start. So it starts in Barcelona.
Okay,
and then you sail around the Mediterranean, and then it repositions to Civitavecchia.
Oh wow!
Which is by Rome in Italy, and then it'll do sailings from there. And then it repositions, I think, back to Barcelona.
Okay.
And then from Barcelona, it repositions to Southampton. So Europe, when they're in Europe, they're all over Europe.
I'm sure part of that's weather related.
Probably.
I would tend to guess there's certain times in spring and fall you don't want to be in Southampton.
I mean, I know that's probably the reason why the Magic isn't in Galveston.
Yeah.
All year round, because as we all know, the Gulf of Mexico
can get interesting.
Can be wild, especially during hurricane season.
And I think February is when I cruised across it, and it was fun. Like I was having a blast. A lot of people were not, and there were bags everywhere. But
manifesting my March sailing is not like that.
It's a month later. You should be fine. Like I'm going to manifest that for you too. All right. Well, we've gone longer than I thought we were going to, but I hope you've enjoyed this first popcorn episode of Daps Travels. If you did, let us know, and we will do it again, because I think we enjoyed it, didn't we?
I definitely enjoyed it, because sometimes it's just fun to yap and ramble about different things, especially related to Disney Cruise Line, because there's so many different aspects of it, because you have it at surface level, just looking like, oh my gosh, fun ships and everything like that. And then each ship has its own different, unique, distinct theme. And it has different venues on it that cater to different people. And then you can look into like the nitty gritty of it, where like itineraries where the ships are going and
think of how much is happening from now until, let's say, the end of December.
It is kind of wild, because especially when I think 10 years ago, because 10 years ago, the Fantasy had been launched in 2012. There wasn't really anything new on the horizon for Disney Cruise Line, because I'm pretty sure the Disney Wish was announced in 2017.
Well, and I just think of how much news we used to be able to cover for Disney Cruise Line then versus today. Like you were lucky if you got a story once a month, maybe. And now it's easily once a week, if not multiple times a week, as I'm looking at this page.
I feel like this is proof that the cruise line, especially being Disney's pretty much newest industry, that's how I can describe it, has been so up and coming, and it's been so successful because it is such a unique and distinct experience. Mm-hmm. As somebody who went on my very first cruise back in November of last year, I can say that it is the premier way to experience Disney. And I know that nowadays it can be really hard to kind of feel the Disney difference when you're going to the parks because they don't feel like they have that same magic anymore. That spark is very much still alive on Disney Cruise Line.
And I think the best spark of the Disney parks is yet to come. Just looking at the leadership and where things are going in the parks right now. Like, I have a lot of excitement for what's coming in the near future. And when you think of both Disneyland and Walt Disney World now are run by people that were running the Disney Cruise Line at one point. And that to me is super exciting too, because you look at the amazing things they've done there and it's fun to see what's coming in the future. But for now, I think we have run the course of this podcast out. What should people do if they'd like to support this podcast?
If people really want to support this podcast, go ahead and leave us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts. 5-star ratings on there really, really help our podcast get out there and be shown. And it shows that what we're doing out there is good for you guys, so we can keep cranking out this content for y'all.
And let us know what you'd like to hear more of. Like, if you want more popcorn episodes, let us know. If you want more ship-focused episode, let us know, because we enjoy it all. So it's not hard for us really to do any of these, because we're just having fun talking about things that we enjoy talking about. But we are going to say goodbye for now. Hope you're having a fantastic day. If you're not, make it a fantastic week instead. But we'll say goodbye and keep kind.
Toodaloo.